welcome to chapter 85 of Memoirs of a White Guy. And you're probably surprised. You're like, Luke, you just got the episode number right. You just got it right the first time. You didn't even have to look it up. I know. And I'll tell you why. Because I took an educated guess. I'm actually still 99% sure. No, I'm not 99% sure it is right. But I'm 1% not confident because I haven't actually checked it. But I reckon it's 85 because I think last week I said 84. I don't care. I'm being confident in that decision. Episode 85. How you guys going? It's been another big week for me. I went to Newcastle over the weekend. I like going to Newcastle. People always give a shit, you know. I mean, including me. People like me always give a shit. And it's not that bad. It's kind of cute. You know, you touch down and the airport, like the terminal, the arrivals terminal is just a room. There's like two of the baggage things and the food court's just a vending machine. Like, you're like, yep, mate, you can get Doritos, Cheezels, or Smiths. Salt and vinegar. There's no plain, we're out. And that's fine. No one wants plain. You know what I mean? I like Newcastle. It's cute. It doesn't try and be fancy, because it couldn't, even if it tried. But the only problem with Newcastle, it's kind of like Melbourne. The airport's like half an hour to 40 minutes away from Newcastle. You're like, yeah, I touched down in Newcastle. And you're like, oh, sick. $50 Uber to the actual Newcastle place. Like the city. Or I was about to say city, but I didn't. It's not really a city. It's kind of like just the buildings that they go, yeah, that's it. And you're like, oh, that's still cute. I mean, their city's kind of like as big as the vending machine in the airport. Their city's just one big room, actually. But man, Newcastle was awesome. My show sold out there, which was totally not like, you know, I was about to say, yeah, it was totally just, I didn't call that. I don't know, it was totally not what I was expecting. So thank you guys in Newcastle who came out. I think just because last year it was my first ever show in Newcastle, I sold like 30 tickets the first year. So I think I thought, Newcastle, I'm just not that big there. But I guess that was like before I'd ever done any live stand-up shows before. So yeah, it sold out this year, the same room. So I was stoked. Thank you very much. You guys came out. It was an awesome show. It was one of the weirdest shows of the tour. And I've had some weird ones. Like if you've seen my stand-up crowd work compilation video on YouTube yet, you would know I've had a couple of strange units in the crowd. But Newcastle just blew them out of the water. They're like, oh, you think shoving things in your dick hole's weird? Well, welcome to Newcastle, mate. Guy in the front row, foot fetish. Boom. Like, it was too much material for me to work with. I didn't even know where to go with it. I was like, you can't just... I got so excited as a comedian. Like, his mate's like, yeah, he's got a foot fetish. And I was like, oh my God, we're only 20 minutes into the show. This is going to be the best show of my life. And it was great. It was super fun. So, thank you, Newcastle. It was very fun. And I convinced a 65-year-old woman that Hufflepuff was a sex position. And now, all I want to know is what she thinks that is. What does she think a Hufflepuff is? So what happened was, it was similar, if you listen to last week's podcast, talk about an older lady coming into the audience in Adelaide. Same thing happened again. Two old ladies had just read, so apparently I was in the Newcastle Herald, which is like their newspaper, right? And they saw it under like the gigs listing. It had like Luke Kidgell, Because I Can. And they're like, oh, it's a comedian coming to town. There's not a lot to do here. Like tonight, we'll take a night off, go into the vending machine, and we'll go to this comedian, right? So I got these two older women who had no idea who I was. I could see them in the crowd, and I was like, this is strange that they're here. So I was like, hey, are you guys like with anyone? Like, did you take your grandkid? I was about to say kid, but I was like, you're old as fuck. Your kid would be like 40. So I was like, did you take anyone here? And they're like, no, we just like came to check it out. And this is after I'd already done like 10 minutes on this guy's foot fetish. And I was like, and my material is also like not, I would say, it's not what your grandma's into. You know what I mean? It's not like 4:30 p.m. news on the ABC, then you flick on some of Luke Kidgell's gags. It doesn't mesh well. It's more of an adult type, dick, you know, like, not all dicks, but, you know, just silly, fun, a little bit rude kind of thing, as all stand-up comedy is. And I guess I don't picture... I mean, you know what? When I'm 65, I'll still enjoy that, so I guess I'm too quick to judge. But it's just like the people who are that age that I know are quite conservative. So I have this thing in my mind wherever I see like an older person, like 67-year-old in a crowd ever, I'm like, they're going to hate it. But they don't. They love it because everyone's the same, right? Everyone loves an immature joke, right? So I had this bit where I mentioned Hufflepuff in the show, and then I kind of saw everyone else laughed, and I saw her just like look at me confused from like the back, and I just saw her face go, what's Hufflepuff? And I was like, oh, do you know what Hufflepuff is? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, it's a sex position. I was going to say what it actually is. I was like, let's go. I'm like, I can't be bothered to explain what Harry Potter is, and then a house, and there's wizarding schools. I went over that in my mind, and I was like, if I go and break down the house system of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to her in the middle of a show, if I'm like, there's Slytherin, then there's Gryffindor, there's Ravenclaw. Now, the courageous people go on Gryffindor, the kind of evil people, the darker people go on Slytherin. Hufflepuff's for all the people who don't really fit in anywhere. And then Ravenclaw's for all the nerds. There's too much, right? So quickly I went, nah, I'm not explaining what fucking Hufflepuff is in front of a sold-out room of people. Instead, I thought quick and I was like, you know what a Hufflepuff is? Right. It's a sex position. And then the rest of the night, I just had to be like, Hufflepuff's a sex position. And of course, everyone else who's not 60 knows full well that Hufflepuff is the lame house in Harry Potter. But she had no idea. I mean, I think because everyone laughed when I said it, that she was like, I think he's fucking with me. I don't think it's actually a sex position. But I also could tell a little bit of her went, well, maybe that's why everyone's laughing. Maybe it's a really gross sex position. I mean, it does sound like one. It sounds like, you know, a type of blowjob. Like a Hufflepuff. Yeah. Oh, man. And I was like, don't Google it. You'll see a badger and you'll get confused. And now she thinks it's like a bestiality sex position. Maybe that's what it is. A blowy off a badger. It's a Hufflepuff. And he huffed and he puffed and he came all over the badger's face. Oh, man. So, yeah, Newcastle was sick. Thanks to everyone. And, yeah, I guess I didn't really expect to select that one. So, that was... What a bonus. That you guys have been too kind to me this year. And the shows this year have just been... I don't know, it's the first year I feel like a proper comedian. I'm like going to each state. People, like heaps of people are coming out to the shows. Everyone's staying afterwards, meeting you guys, signing posters and stuff. It's just kind of like what I wanted at the start was like, imagine if I could just tour around and like I could sell tickets in other places I've never been before. That would be the dream. And it's happening. So, I don't know. I mean, last year it happened, but this year I'm like it's different for some reason. It's shifted. Like some people, like lots of people last year were like, you know, coming because like I supported Lewis on his tour, and then, you know, they were like, oh yeah, I saw you, Lewis, man. I just thought I'd come check it out. It was cool. But this year, like everyone is coming for me. They're like, yeah, we want to see you. You know what I mean? It's a shift in the audience, and I often ask at the start of a show, like, hey, who came back from last year? And it's only ever like a quarter of the audience. So I've gained like all these new people on that are like, fuck yeah, man, we love you. And that's the coolest shit. So, yeah, if you're new to the shows and you came this year, thanks very much for coming. Hope to see you back next year because I do a new show each year. And it's just been one of those weeks this week where I've, again, obviously been pretty busy and stuff, doing shows, radio. And the problem is, though, I'm so stupid that I make everything harder for myself. Like, my week's actually achievable. You know, I do a lot of stuff and try and fit a lot of stuff in, but if you had a good time management and if you thought about stuff before you did it and didn't just rush around trying to do 50 million things at once, then great. Sorry, someone just honked outside my window. You guys wouldn't have heard that. That's distracting. I'm easily distracted. I'm like talking about something, you guys know this, talking about something, and then I hear burr, burr in the background. I'm like, oh, a noise, hello. Anyway, I keep making things harder for myself. One example, we had a photo shoot at the radio station on Wednesday, right? It was for the Fox show. We hadn't taken new photos in a while. As you know, we need to update all our photos and stuff from the Triple M ones. So we're like doing this new photo shoot. This is our third attempt at the photo shoot. The first time, I rocked up late. I was in traffic, had to get cancelled. So I fucked up the first one. The second one, we had to cancel it. Lewis's dog passed away. So we didn't do the show that day. Boom, had to cancel that one. The third one was it. They were like, boys, you can't miss this one, okay? You can't miss it. You've got to be there on time, have a change of clothes ready, and no white t-shirts. And they told us that like 3 or 4 days before, and I was like, yeah, don't worry, we're all over this one. So what does your boy do? What do? I wake up. I'm like, oh, just an ordinary day. Ba-dum. Just an gotta eat my breakfast. Oh, not thinking about anything but myself. And they're like, oh, I could do a video in the morning. And then it gets to like, so the photo shoot's at like 4 p.m., right? And it gets to kind of like 3-ish. And I'm like, I think I have something on. Let me check my calendar. And I'm like, boo-doo. I probably heard a honk like, boop, boop. And I'm like, oh, hello. And I just get distracted again. So it gets like 3:15. And then I'm like, oh, shit. I have the photo shoot today. Oops. So I quickly, I've still got time to get there. Don't worry. Hopefully it takes me 45 minutes to get there. I quickly threw some shit in a bag because I was like, they said take outfits. So I didn't even look at what I was grabbing. I was like, just throw clothes in a bag and it'll be fine. I'll make it work when I get there. And then I left straight away, right? Get there, I'm wearing a white t-shirt, which they're like, don't wear white t-shirts because that ruins the background. Then we can't crop it properly. Oops, I forgot. So we're there, Lewis is there, obviously on time. I'm there, I just make it on time. I'm like, great, I'm here, the photographer's here, it's all set up, let's do it. I'm like, hey guys, before we start doing the shoot, let me just grab my bag of things that I packed. And I look in my bag and I'm like, uh-oh, oops, I forgot all my things. Who would have thought that if you leave in a rush and just throw shit in a bag, you're not going to remember it? So I was like, guys, don't stress. I've left it in the car. I've left all my things that I need, all the change of clothes in the car. The car's just around the corner. I'll be back in 5. Hang tight, team. I've got it. I go out to my car. Oops. It's not in my car. I've left it at home. It's probably on my front porch and it's raining. Oops. This was not a hard thing to do. Was to bring a couple of change of clothes, be at a place on time, and that's it. Someone else does all the work. Only I could fuck that up. Only me could be so stupid to be like, oh right, okay, I've made a mistake. So I didn't panic here. I'm like, I don't have any clothes. I can't wear a white t-shirt, which I'm currently wearing. What am I going to do? Let's think. Let's turn on these little brain cells, all right? For once, let's have a think. Let's redeem your mistakes. I went and bought a t-shirt. I just went to the nearest store. So there's heaps of stores on the street that the radio station's on, which is like, they're kind of like designer stores. Like, you know, $70 t-shirts and stuff. And I was like, that's fine. If I have to pay $70 for a t-shirt, that's my fault. I'm a dickhead. And also, I'm like, hey, if I could wear this t-shirt again, it's not a huge loss. It means now I just own nice clothes for once. So I'm going through all these designer stores. I'm like looking for a t-shirt. They're all V-necks. Just like, where's your crew cuts? All right? All V-necks. I'm like, it's 2018. Who's still wearing a V-neck? Apparently they're back. So I was like, there's no way that in the photo shoot for Fox, I'm wearing a V-neck. Okay? There's no way. Right? So I was like, hey, guys, do you have any... I just held up one of the V-necks. Like, do you have anything that's not this? And he's like, no. No, people generally want a V-neck. I'm like, oh great, well that's not the wider consensus of the population. I mean, you must have a hardcore demographic of fuckwits walking into this store on a regular basis. Because I'm not hanging out, maybe I hang out with losers. Am I the weird one? Am I the one who sees some guy in a V-neck and is like, wanker? You know what I mean? Am I the weird one? Or is that... They're wrong. I think they're in the wrong. Apparently, I'm in the wrong. I'm the minority here. But I think V-necks are for wankers. So, I was like, no way, I'm not getting a V-neck. The only other store on the street... Because remember, I'm in a rush here, right? There's kind of people waiting around. The photographer was being nice. He's like, don't worry, mate. Still got like 20 more minutes till I've finished setting up. You've got time. Go buy a t-shirt or something. You'll be fine. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I even like... thought about borrowing Radio Mike's t-shirt, and he was wearing this stripy one that he looked like a gondola. So I was like, nah, I can't look like I'm a gondola in Venice or Radio Mike. That would be the worst. So I was like, okay, I've got to just go buy a t-shirt. The only other store on the street was a Red Cross shop, like one of the Salvation Army type stores, like an op shop kind of thing. And I was like, hey, they might have some good stuff in there. And I went in there, I quickly looked, and I found a Ralph Lauren t-shirt, right? It was fine. It was like $20. It was, obviously secondhand, but I was like, it'll fit. It'll be fine for now. Cool. And then I bought this other one just in case, right? Just plain black one. Cool. In the bag. And I quickly walked out. And that's what I wore in the photo shoot. Someone else's Ralph Lauren t-shirt. Which... like, it's not my t-shirt. I haven't worn it since. I probably won't wear it since. It's not really the right size. It's like, I don't really wear the clothes. Like, I'm a large and it was a medium, which mediums fit me. But I'm like, I usually wear clothes a little bit baggier. Not, down to my knees or anything. Just like, I guess looser. I like a looser fit. I don't like it when the t-shirt is kind of like at the same... it needs to be covering my belt, the t-shirt, right? But it was borderline. Like, it fits just. It just fits me. So the whole time in the photo shoot, I'm kind of like trying to wear this jacket. I'm like, oh, maybe we try this with the jacket. So I put back on the jacket, and then everyone else, like the photographer, people who work at the radio station and stuff, are like, oh, maybe we'll try this next one without the jacket. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you'll find that we all enjoy the jacket more. And they're like, no, I'm pretty sure that we can lose the jacket. The whole time, I'm just switching between the jacket, trying to get some with the jacket on so my top doesn't look too small. And 100%, I bet the ones that they will choose and use, or the ones that even I will agree at the end they look better, are the ones without a jacket, right? Everyone was like, lose the jacket, man. And I'm like, nah. And it's bullshit, because Lewis wears the same shit every day. Every single day. At least I change what t-shirt I'm wearing. Okay, but I'm just going to go turn on the light here for all the people watching this on YouTube. It's getting pretty dark. Alright, the light's on. We're back. That didn't really help at all. Oh, well, it's just going to be a dark episode this week. You guys are watching a silhouette yell about his white problems. So yeah, it's bullshit, because Lewis wears jeans, leather jacket, and a black t-shirt every day. And they're like, bring a variety of clothes. And he just bought another leather jacket. He's like, well, this is my, like, casual leather jacket, and this is, like, the one I wear for shows. And I'm like, it's the same jacket. You only own leather jackets, okay? Anyway, so I was like, this is bullshit. And I also mucked up, because I bought 2 black t-shirts from the thing. So like, oh, so when you went and bought a t-shirt, did you buy 2 t-shirts from the Red Cross store? I'm like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, these are them both. And I just bought 2 black t-shirts. And they're like, that's the same t-shirt. So really, Lewis and I just... what do they want from us? If you hire the most basic human on the planet, and then the other guy who dressed like a bikie every day, what do you expect from us in a photo shoot situation? Like, we're not gonna dress like dickheads. Anyway, so that's what happened. The bloody... Anyway. We got there in the end. The photo shoot got taken, but I'm just sick of making things harder for myself every day. If I just thought about stuff for 2 seconds, like, now make sure I put this in the car, my life will be so much easier. Because it only takes 2 seconds at the time to be like, oh yeah, put this in the car now. And boom, it's done. Instead, it costs me like 15, 20 minutes of me running around looking for a t-shirt. It always ends up being way longer in the long run. You just got to think about shit when you're doing it and you'll save time. But anyway, that's kind of been my week. That pretty much sums up my week. I started talking to this guy on Snapchat this week. You guys might remember I've been talking about it a lot recently. I'm getting eye surgery next week. Shit. Anyway, not keen. Next Thursday, I'm getting this eye surgery done. It's called cross-linking. And I was speaking to a guy on Snapchat, and he first of all, he said he knows my hot doc. He's like, yeah, man, I think I know the doc you're talking about, and he ain't hot. And I was like, you don't know hot, okay? You clearly don't know hot. I get that he's lost it now, but back when you would have known him, he would have been you know what I mean? You would tap that doc. You know what I mean? Anyway, he knows hot, right? Sorry, he doesn't know hot. So this guy reckons he knows my hot doc. I doubt he does. How would he know if it's the same doctor? Every doctor's probably a hot doc. They're a doctor, okay? So this guy starts telling me about the surgery, and he keeps using the word scraped. I was kind of asking him questions about it. He goes, yeah, you'll be fine, man. Don't worry, I had it. He goes, although I did hate it when they scraped my eye with the metal thing. Great, that was the one thing I was concerned about, was the use of the word scrape and then the actual act of them scraping shit off my eye with metal. I can't even touch my eyeball. This guy was like trying to help me, messaged me going, yeah, don't worry about it, man. You got nothing to worry about. And then just freaked me out completely. I don't know what his name was, because I was just talking on Snapchat. His username was something. But, yeah, so I asked him, one thing that I was concerned about after the surgery was I might have to wear hard contact lenses, which is like a specific type of contact lenses, which is a bit thicker, and it kind of pushes your eye back into, because my cornea is steep, so it pushes your eye back, which means that it's very irritating for your eye. And I was a bit concerned about that, so I asked him, I was like, hey man, did you have to wear hard contact lenses? And he goes, yeah, they're fine, man, don't worry about it. I mean, it irritated me and annoyed me a lot for about 3 years, and then after that it was fine. He goes, yeah, I completely hated it for about 3 years, and they crack, they drop, they're very expensive and they're highly irritating, and but only for 3 years. Awesome. Okay, sweet. I look forward to when I'm 25 and my eye doesn't hurt. That'll be great. Mate, 26 is going to be awesome. I'm going to hey guys, my eye doesn't hurt for once. What do you mean 3 years? Yeah, it was fine. I was just irritated for 3 years. And that's pain as well. I can't even imagine having an itch for 3 years. Like, yeah, it's a bit irritating. For 3 years, you're scratching that thing on and off. 3 years. There it is again. Anything for 3 years is too much. Anything. Like, 3 years supply of chocolate. You're going to get sick of it. 3 years of anything is too much. Okay? So, this guy, thank you for messaging. Not really. Your intentions were like, let's not freak Luke out. But then you completely did. You backfired, you said the word scraped again, and then you're like, yeah, don't worry about it, just 3 years. See ya. Awesome. I can't wait for my surgery next Thursday. This is going to be the last week of my life that I enjoy in 3 years. Sweet. It's been fun knowing you all. This is the last time I'll ever be able to see you guys with 2 eyes. I'll be wearing an eye patch. I think I actually have to wear an eye patch for a bit. That'd be hilarious. I'll be a pirate. And I won't be like a cool pirate, like Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? Like Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, army. I'll be Captain Featherstone. That's what I'll be. I'll be like, hey kids, you want to come into my pirate ship? And I'll be like, no, fuck off. So yeah, I'm going to be a creepy pirate. I look forward to that. And yeah, so if you got to message me about shit to try and make me feel better, don't. Just don't. Keep it to yourself. Don't want to know. If anyone says the word scrape to me this week, blocked, reported. Alright? Why? Because it's harassment. Okay, and it's bullying and it makes me feel uncomfortable. One good thing about this week, though, I did have a few pluses. I flew Jetstar like a king. Last week, your boy was flying Tiger Airways, like a peasant, like a serf, like a little Ollivander going like, "But please, sir, could I have a seat on the plane? I'll pay you a nickel and a penny." Like I was paying them in nothing. You know, it doesn't cost anything for a Tiger flight. But I was like, nah. I don't know why we booked Jetstar. I think I didn't book it, right? Oh, I think I did. I don't remember. Emily or I booked it. I forget. But I got to the airport and I was like, all right, well, let's go to the Tiger terminal because I'm just used to it. And then Emily's like, nah, Jetstar this time. Return as well. I was like, oh, what? I can't afford that. Did you pay for it? Turns out I can because I'm selling out. So, man, lucky the show sold out because I would have come back a very poor man. I mean, Jetstar's, by the way, for overseas listeners, once again, Jetstar's still not a good airline. That's the second shit one. But compared to Tiger, whoo, leg room galore. There was one point where my knees weren't even hitting the chair in front. Like I wasn't squished up on my chair in the fetal position, just in the brace position, waiting to die. There was one point of the flight where I actually went, this is alright. I mean, it wasn't good. That's Qantas. You know, I've flown Qantas twice, and it was awesome. But Jetstar, I was like, I mean, I'll probably still die, but I'll go out with a little bit of a cheeky grin on my face at all those people that had to die a horrible death on a Tiger flight. And you think that's impressive, right? You're probably going, whoa, Luke's moving up in the world. Good on him, right? Well, check this shit out. I get an email yesterday. Again, I forget who I booked my flights with. I forget what's happening. I live my life, as you guys can tell, one day at a time. I don't even know what's happening tomorrow. It's Tuesday today. All I know is I got a radio show, and the other things I'll work out later tonight before I go to bed, right? One day at a time. But I get an email reminding me of my flight to Canberra on Friday. And I had to blink, and I rubbed my eyes and looked again. I read it, and it said, Virgin Airways, we are looking forward to having you on your flight to Canberra this Friday. And I was like, wait, this is a cat. I'm being catfished. I was like, this is a Nigerian prince. What do you mean, Virgin? I don't fly Virgin Airways. I was like, Tiger must have changed their branding. No. Turns out, I don't know why, I've booked a flight with Virgin. That's above Jetstar. It's not as good as Qantas, but they have a business class, or at least it's, I think it's called Economy X. It's not quite business class, but I'm not flying business class, but I'm flying economy on Virgin. Woo! I'm going to be able to stretch out my knees to the point where I'm actually seated on the chair like a human being. I won't know what to do. I think I'll just be like, excuse me, could you get something I could shove in between the seats so I can just feel more at home like a Tiger flight? If you could just get some of those, you know, like one of your carts, and I'll just jam it in between the seat and my legs just so I get the same experience that I'm used to. I'll feel uncomfortable with all that leg room. It's going to be... Actually, I think I flew Virgin in one other time. Oh, yeah. Adelaide to Perth, I flew a Virgin. I forgot to tell you guys about that. Because, yeah, the only reason why I did, though, is because Jetstar and Tiger don't do that flight. Like, Virgin and Qantas are the only people who do that flight, Adelaide to Perth. So, yeah, we flew Virgin, and it was awesome. I forgot about it because it feels like a distant dream. It feels like I woke up when I landed in Perth, and I was like, all right, back to reality. And then I flew Tiger home, and it was the most brutal flight ever. It was like 4 hours of like a sardine can, just me jammed with my foot over my head like a contortionist, just being like, I'm having fun, thank you. Would you like any food or drinks? No thanks, no food or drinks. I didn't buy this flight, alright, because I wanted to give you more money, alright? It's like my dream, like to just sell as many tickets, like to sell... The minute I start flying Qantas, you know I've made it. Like, that's when I'll actually consider I've made it. When I can fly interstate for a show and fly Qantas, boom. I made it, son. That's it. That's the top. You don't get higher than that. I mean, there's probably like, there's private jets and shit, but I'm a comedian. All right, I'm not going to be Justin Bieber level, you know what I mean? I think Kevin Hart is the only comedian who's doing private jets. Even like other big comedians, and maybe Seinfeld could obviously afford it, but like every other comedian's just doing business class. No one will be doing it. Okay? So, yeah, hopefully that's the dream. Qantas is the dream. You've got to dream big, kids, alright? If you don't set goals, then how are you going to achieve anything? And I've started from the bottom. Alright, I want to be like Drake. I want to be like, started from the target, now we're here. I started from the target, now the whole team's fucking Qantas. I mean, not the whole team, obviously. Everyone who's touring with me can fly Tiger still, but I'll be up the front in Qantas. Boom. So yeah, that was the one update that I've moved up in the world this week with my Jetstar. And yeah, I'm so keen for Friday, man. All that leg room. Anyway, so yeah, Canberra show is this Friday. Here's the thing. Usually, I'd be like, hey, only 20 tickets left, only 20 seats left, get in quick or you're gonna miss out. That's usually the case, because I usually sell tickets. But Canberra, it's the first time I've ever been there. I'll be honest with ya, there's tickets left. Alright, if you want to come, I'd love to have you there. There'll be tickets on the door. Alright, oh, maybe there won't be. No, there will be. There definitely will be, okay? Unless I just get a surge in the next 3 days, right? Yeah, I mean, it's over half sold, but you've still got, there's lots of tickets to snap up, so get in there, snap them, alright, snap them all up, and wouldn't it be great to sell at Canberra? I actually started a hashtag on Instagram. I need to get over to Twitter, because Twitter hashtags really start conversation, and maybe I need to just tweet pro-Trump things, so I just get a bit of media traction just to promote this Canberra leg of the tour. Anyway, yeah, I've started a hashtag called Canberros for Luke, and it's where even if you don't live in Canberra but you know someone who does, you hit up them right now when you're listening to this and be like, hey, the funniest comedian is coming to Canberra this Friday. Get on that shit or you're going to look like a damn fool. You're going to look like a gosh darn fool if you don't, right? So that's kind of like the essence of what I'm going for here. So yeah, Canberros for Luke. I'd love it if you I'm not even kidding here. If you have a mate who's in Canberra and you're like, hey, they might like comedy, tell them to come along. I just have this, like, it was so funny if like half the crowd was just like all people recommended by my fans. Like the first half of the crowd is all people who are fans of me from the podcast and the videos and the radio show. And then the second half of the crowd is just confused people who are like, I mean, there's fuck all else to do here. And I'm here, but I guess this is fine. It's like my dream is just to have a show full of like fans, friends. And I just have to win them over throughout the night going like, hey, I'm Luke, I have to introduce myself. It'd be so funny. So, so yeah, get on down. It's going to be a sick show. It's the first ever show in Canberra. I'm talking it down a lot. It's over half sold. But I'd love to, I just think it would be so funny to sell out in Canberra. Because I booked it thinking like, nah, this will sell shit. And I wasn't wrong. But you know what's annoying though? Because the reason why I added a show in Canberra, originally I did announce a Canberra show, then I added one. And it was because like all these people were like, bro, you should come to Canberra. And then like, I guess none of them bought tickets. I got like 100 messages. And they were like, yeah, you should definitely come. It's like, cool. Buy a ticket then. You just want me to be in the vicinity of you? You're like, oh great, you're coming to Canberra. I won't see you at the show, but good luck, bro. Thanks. That helps pay for my Virgin flight back, doesn't it? No. I'm gonna have to cancel it and fly Tiger back. It's probably still cheaper. Anyway. So Canberros for Luke. It would be awesome if you're from Canberra, know someone from Canberra, hit them up, send them to the show, and then I guess it'll be so funny. I'll get them to send you a video after the show of like me and them, just like ask them to be like, hey, my friend recommended me, and like Jess, you said you were good, and then I'll just be like, send him a Snapchat being like, hey Jess, Canberra's for Luke, thanks for bringing him along. I just don't think that would be so funny. People who don't know me They're like, this guy, why am I here? So yeah, came for Canberra show. To all the people who have got tickets, I can't wait. It's going to be sick. It's going to be obviously one of the smaller shows of the tour, but not really. I mean, if it sells out, it'll be bigger than Newcastle actually. So yeah, but let's do it, Canberra. I can't wait. What's next? I thought of the funniest thing ever this week. The funniest thing ever. What's that? You think you already know the funniest thing ever? Oh, it's already decided in your mind. You're wrong. Whatever you're thinking right now, it's wrong. Even whatever you're thinking, like, I wonder what Luke's thinking of, you're wrong. You don't know it. There's no way anyone right now, like, try and guess. Think about it right now. Oh, okay, Luke said he thought of the funniest thing ever. What could that be? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it, alright? Time starts now. I'll give you thinking music, like in Jeopardy. Bing, bong, 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 bing, bong, bong, bong. Beep, 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 beep. Time's up. Whatever you're thinking of now is incorrect. Can guarantee 110% it's wrong. I thought of the funniest thing ever. I laughed so hard when I thought of this thing, I almost quit comedy. I was like, oh great, that's the peak. Goodbye career, I'll never be able to top that. That's why I don't even know if I should talk about it in the podcast. Because you'll be like, oh, that's the end of Memoirs of a White Guy. It's like you know what I mean? It's like the Peter Pigeon interview. I just don't think the world's ready for it yet. It's great. I just don't think anyone's ready for it yet. And this is under the same realm. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll get back to it at the end of the podcast. I don't know. I don't think I should tell you guys. And more of just the thing is, I kind of want to bring this up. I mean, it's kind of rude to you guys. It's not really rude to you guys. It's more just rude to people on the internet. The general consensus of my wider fan base. I'm not necessarily talking about the podcast people. Even though some of you probably fall under this category, it doesn't mean you all. I was talking to like people during the week. I kind of realized why I'm the comedian. Sometimes when I post online, and like I always forget because I hang out with funny people all the time, and I think my high school friends are quite funny. Like I think I naturally just gravitate towards people who are funny, like proper. Some of my mates are fucking way funnier than me. You know what I mean? Like they're so funny, just like at a bar or whatever, they'll make me cry laughing. You know what I mean? And obviously lots of people don't have the skills or even the desire at all to translate that into a career or on stage or anything, or into content. That's fine. Most of the funniest people in the world, I truly think, are just like random people, and their sense of humor is properly hilarious, right? And then sometimes I think, because I'm surrounded by all these funny people, I forget that the general wider population is not. And I guess that's why people look to comedians, look to entertainers for that endorphin lift. Not that, okay, this sounds bad. This is not me thinking I'm above anyone at all. Except for the people I'm about to read out. I'm definitely above them comedically. But I always just forget. I live in this bubble of like always surrounded by comedians and I guess people who are naturally humorous. You know, I know literally some of the funniest people in the world. Right? So at least in Australia. So I'm surrounded by this constant bubble, and then I get online. It was a perfect example last night. I thought it would be funny. I posted a picture of me in medieval stocks on Thingo. You might have seen it on my Instagram. I'm like in the medieval stocks. You might have seen it like on Merlin, how they used to torture people. Your head and arms go, and the wood goes over your head, and your arms are pinned down to the wood, and people used to throw fruit at them. That's what a medieval stocks are, if you don't know. I posted a picture of me in these medieval stocks, and when there were too many possibilities for capturing this photo, so I thought I'd open it up to you guys below. Winner gets a jelly bean. I may and then I was like, good luck, kind of thing. Like, comment below your caption. Thinking, again, always surrounded by these funny people, I'm like, these are going to be hilarious. And then as soon as I posted it, I was like, oh, that's why they all follow me. Because they're not funny. Honestly, some of them were great. No, this is not all, but I'll just read you some of these comments, right? I've got a couple of... There's some on Facebook as well. I'll go down my Instagram first, and I'll get the ones up on Facebook. You tell me, like, if you... And people, like, this was them thinking about it. You can tell people have thought about it for, like, 5 minutes. Like, what should I comment below? Blah, blah. Even if they've spent 30 seconds on it, holy shit. So, I commented... this is an example. I gave an example of what I would consider a humorous caption for this post. My comment was, Mr. Grey will see you now, in quotation marks. And now that's funny because the stocks, because I'm pinned, it looks like a medieval rape device, right? And it was a 50 Shades of Grey reference. Pretty funny joke, okay? Like, oh, Luke's into kinky shit. That being the joke. And that was top comment by far. Alright, and the second top comment was just my mate from high school, because he's funny. These are the comments on Facebook. Wait. Okay. When you made a stupid joke in front of a crowd. So you'd be in medieval stocks, you'd being tortured for that. My name is Luke, but many people call me stupid idiot. Oh, yep. I don't even get the joke there. When you steal one loaf of bread. Really? That's actually what you get put in medieval stocks for. My name Jeff. That's the funniest one so far. Capital punishment for being the top comedian of the country. Capital punishment's when you die. I wasn't in a noose. I was in a torture device. It doesn't make sense. Alright? When someone owns you. Oh, because remember I did that video 2 years ago? Great stuff. This one's good. luke.kidgell, because it's in jail. Jill. That's actually pretty clever. When you like another girl's photo. Oh, because that's... I was planning to post some of these on my Instagram. I was planning to be like, I'll post some of the best ones. Seriously? This one's pretty good. Today the dungeon master would be one getting spanked. Yep. This one's pretty clever. I guess you could say my stocks went up. When your girlfriend makes you watch Twilight. This one's fucking funny. From Emily. Record scratch. Freeze frame. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. That's fucking great. I'm gonna post that one. Oh man. Sorry, but you know what I mean? I'm just scrolling through so many shit ones here. Like, all these rape jokes. Like, I already nailed the rape joke, okay? 50 Shades of Gay. You've just copied mine, alright? The schooling system's got me like, oh my god. This one's amazing. Once a man touched something, not any man, but a horrible man. You don't know how disgusting this man is. The man photographed here is the worst of them all, doing what can only be rude and racist at the same time. What he did is unfathomable. Please, for the love of God, do not touch somebody's spaghetti. That's pretty good. Anyway, you guys get it. There was a good one that was like, when you don't sell it, your Canberra shows. That's some relatable shit. But yeah. All I can say is, I just realized that I kind of was like, nah, everyone's funny. In my head, I had this idea that was like, nah, everyone's funny. I'm just like one, I'm one funny people out of many. I get now why I get paid to do this. Because I'm reading these comments and I'm like, you're either 12 or you've never heard a joke. When you annoy your parents. Oh, fuck my life. I mean, I'm sorry if I've read out one of your ones, but seriously, lift your game. And there's a few great ones in there, and I can tell the best ones are from podcast fans. And some of them just try and like reference old shit I've done. If you get caught liking a Jacob Sartorius song, because I did that video about him like a year ago. Okay, cool. This one's pretty good. I'm ready, master. This one, like this. When you get bum raped by Lewis. But he didn't write raped, he wrote rapped. When you get bum rapped by Lewis. When Lewis raps about my bum. Yeah, Luke's bum is really dumb. What's the joke there? Like, am I missing something? This guy totally wears a fucking V-neck. Alright, that's enough of that. I'll do one question and then we'll end it. What are we doing? Alright, I haven't read this, but here we go. This one is from... I'm just checking if I'm supposed to keep it anonymous. No, I don't think so. Okay. This one is from Declan. Alright, and I wanted you guys to actually ask actual life advice questions. I'm sick of answering shit about me, alright? Just let's make the last bit of the podcast about you guys. You hear about me for the first 45 minutes, alright? After hearing your request for... This is from Declan. Hey, Luke, after hearing your request for a life advice question, I thought I'd take the opportunity to ask you something that I've been thinking about for ages. Currently, I'm studying politics and economics at Sydney University, a fancy way of saying I do an arts degree. At least you acknowledge it. And now that being a political commentator is what I want to do with my life, I just had no idea when to start, especially being 18. I don't know if I should wait and continue studying and then do it once I finish uni, or if I should just jump into the deep end and start now. If I should do the latter, then where should I start? Also, thanks for making me look insane by laughing to myself on the train while listening to your podcast. It makes the trip that much more enjoyable. I also can't wait to travel to Canberra to see your show with the 4 other people who have bought tickets there. Thanks, man. I hope to see you there. Why are you traveling to... Oh, I spoke to this guy on Snapchat during the week. Why are you traveling to Canberra when I'm doing a Sydney show? That makes no sense, alright? If you're listening to this now, you can back out anytime, Declan, okay? I'm doing a Sydney show. Just come to that. Although, come from a Canberra show. You know what? Everyone from Sydney, travel down. I need the people. Okay, so you want to be a political commentator, but you don't know whether to keep studying or start now. Obviously, I'm an idiot and I'm a comedian. And my life advice may not be always the best with specific things like this. But I will say... I know nothing about what it takes to be a political commentator, but I usually think the best case with anything, particularly something that sounds like it does actually require a degree. One great thing to do, and I have a lot of friends who are doing it, my brother was doing it for a bit with law, is you keep studying, you maybe drop a couple of subjects, start studying more part-time, while also trying to get into the workforce. It's definitely the best way because you're getting real-world experiences, and in my experience personally, and other people who I've known, employers and future employers don't really give a fuck about the piece of paper you've got. Like, look, I did this for 4 years. Awesome. You turned up at 1 p.m. every day and went to 1 lecture a week. Well done, champ. You just rocked up in the exams and passed. Cool. What they actually want is, hey, I've been doing this for 3 years now during my degree. They'll be like, oh, this guy hustles. He wants to do it. He's had experience. This is who we want. So whether you can get an internship, Declan, or something, I would say maybe look at... Because keep studying. It sounds like you like studying and you want to keep going. That's great. You should definitely keep studying if you need to get a master's or whatever the fuck you need to get to achieve your end goal. Definitely keep doing that. But if you sound like you want to start, so I would recommend... getting your foot in the door somewhere with 1 day a week, 2 days a week at some kind of internship. I don't know really what places need a political commentator, like a news... Is that what it is? Like a media person who studies politics. Anyway, you could probably get a job at your local... Get into local politics, maybe writing a column. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but if it's like... Political commentator, I believe, is someone who... commentates politics, so like someone who has a column about politics or something in a newspaper or on TV or something like that. So I think maybe hit up your local newspaper, try and get your foot in the door somewhere, doing what you want to do, or at least in the field, and then keep studying. That is my advice for you, Declan. Thank you very much for sending the question. Can't wait to see you this Friday at my Canberra show, and let me know if you listen to this and what you're going to do. And yeah, So that's all we have time for. Actually, one thing I did want to address, it's a bit of a bum way to end the podcast, but I said I would address it last week, is I mentioned that the reason perhaps why there wasn't a radio show one day last week, and I guess I wasn't as active in the last couple of weeks, I have really been trying to because I got shows on and stuff, is that my granddad passed away 2 weeks ago. I found out the night before my Adelaide show. I was in Adelaide with Lachlan, Fairbairn, and Emily. And I actually found out, if you were watching the live stream, it cut out for like 10 minutes because my dad called me, and I'd usually put my phone on do not disturb or whatever, like when I'm doing the live stream, just so I don't get interrupted and stuff. But we kind of knew that. So my granddad was 92. He was awesome. We'd been super close since I was a baby, right? Like he was. So I was very fortunate enough to have a granddad around for so long. And yeah, he by the end obviously just got. I mean, that's life. He got sick and stuff, and ended up spent his last year in a nursing home, and then by the end was in palliative care, and obviously, yeah. So we knew there was a point where the nurses and doctors had kind of said it's almost the end. So we kind of expected it coming, and so anyway, I kept my phone on that whole night because I left for Adelaide and it hadn't happened yet. I knew, and I was doing my show, Adelaide and Perth that weekend, the Saturday and Sunday night, and I kind of knew, like, yep, it's gonna happen, and so I was preparing myself so I wasn't so upset and so distraught that it wouldn't affect the show and then ruin everyone who came out, and I was trying not to let it affect the shows and stuff. But anyway, I found out during the live stream, like 5 minutes in, it cut out for like 10 minutes, and I took a phone call and I found out that he'd passed away, and I was obviously very upset and stuff. But it was awesome. Lachlan and Emily were there, and it was anyway. And we kept doing the live stream, I guess. And we didn't. I don't want to mention it. I was like, I don't want to talk about the live stream. I don't want to ruin it, whatever. And I didn't even want to talk about it last week on the podcast because I was still pretty upset. And the funeral was last. I hadn't had the funeral yet. I just wanted to wait. Obviously, just spend time with family and stuff before I talk about it anywhere. And also, if you talk about stuff like this, and obviously you guys are lovely, and the people who listen to this stuff are, and as I meet you guys at the shows, I realize you're all amazing, generous, kind, giving people, which I don't know why I attract those people, because I don't know, you guys are better than me, but anyway, I seem to attract a really generous group of caring people who really support me and like my stuff, which is you guys. And I guess I knew that I would get a few messages during the week, like, from you guys, like, really sorry about your granddad and stuff. And I guess that I didn't want that yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want that necessarily. Not that I appreciate that a lot. I mean, it just made me upset because then I'd be reminded of it and stuff. And I had shows to do, and yeah, it was a thing where, so that's why we had a day off the radio show. And it's one of those things where it's really hard, obviously, losing a loved one, but it was one of those things where by the end, no, it wasn't a good thing, but like it was a relief for dad and mum and stuff, who by the end, my dad spent there was one point where he didn't leave the nursing home, didn't leave my granddad's bedside for 28 hours straight. We were all there. Like, I spent a lot of the last 2 weeks, and I mean, I spent my whole life going to see him at least once a week and stuff. So we were very close. I used to go over there just by myself, like, for afternoon dinner and stuff, just pop in around, and it was always great to me and Emily and stuff like that. So I was very close with him, and by the end, I spent, just sometimes a couple of hours, a few hours just by his side, holding his hand, and it was that, and that's fortunate that I got to spend that time with him, even in the last few days. Sometimes he was unresponsive and stuff, but he knew that we were there, so that's what's important. So, yeah, I guess I wanted to tell you guys that's what happened. A few people already said sorry for your loss because you guys didn't even know who or what it was. And thank you guys very much for that. That's very kind and generous of you all. And I guess I didn't want to talk about it last week on the podcast because I didn't really want people after the shows bring it up because I want the shows to be like a really positive, fun kind of thing. But yeah, Granddad was always super proud of me, and he said in the last few days that he wants me to make it, and yeah, he wants me to be a really successful comedian, and that he's super proud of me following my dreams, and he thinks that's amazing. So he never actually got to saw me do stand-up because in the last few years he wasn't well enough to kind of, go to that type of thing. But he has listened to me on the radio before. Dad was playing us to him on Fox just a couple of weeks ago. So that was really cool that he got to hear that. And yeah, that's a bit of a bum way to end the podcast. That's why I just wanted to do it at the end, just because I didn't want to run the podcast early. And yeah, so that's what's happening with me. It was a bit of a rough week this week. So there is a video coming out tonight about the Yodel kid. I'd written it 3 weeks ago when it was a relevant meme. And then obviously that all happened. And I'm not making excuses or whatever, but that's just what has happened. So I'm putting out a video tonight that mightn't be as relevant or mightn't be as, topical or whatever, but I thought, hey, I wrote it and I might as well film it and edit it and stuff. So, yeah, the videos are going to be coming back. I guess I just wanted to spend that time with family because in the long run, that's a lot more important than putting out a stupid video to sell a few tickets or whatever. So, yeah, there's a video coming tonight. All the content's back. We had a bit of a rough run with the Luke and Lewis show, just because Lewis's dog passed away the few days before that. And there was one show, where I was in Perth and he was back in Melbourne. We were doing it over webcam. It was 2 or 3 days, or it's 2 days after my granddad had passed away. He had to put his dog down, who he'd had for years during the week. And neither of us were in like a good place at all to be in that situation doing it. But we still gave it a very, very good crack, and we just kept pushing through. Because it's weird when your job is to be like I hate taking time off the radio show because I know so many people listen and love it and stuff. But when your job is to be funny and to be, not even funny, when your job is to be happy and project and be entertaining, it's so hard to do if you're in like a bad place. Like I think a few people sent Lewis messages like, oh, harden the fuck up, like life moves on and stuff. You're like, yeah, you can go to like an office job and be super bummed out, and obviously you'd be really upset the whole day, and I guess continue doing what you're doing in a upset state. It's gonna like affect the show, and obviously it will affect your work. I'm not saying that, but in ours, it's kind of like, not that we're a special case, but like it's a thing where it's like, if you're not 100% on that day and you're not giving it your all, it's gonna be very noticeable and shit, and you might as well, we're like, let's just take the day off. So obviously I took the day off when the funeral was on, and then Lewis, was a bit upset, obviously very upset when he called me in the morning when his dog had to be passed away. So I organised to cancel the show and stuff that day, because he was like, no, I can still do it, and I was like, no man, we're cancelling the show, it's fine. So yeah, that's what's been happening. Thank you guys for being understanding. Sorry to end the podcast on a bad note. I would say one thing is, if you haven't spoken to your grandparents in a while, go spend some time with them, because the one thing that was great at the end, and especially at the funeral, was that I didn't regret anything. You know what I mean? Like he had a very peaceful death, and at the end I was like, and I spent a lot of time with him, and I'll cherish that forever. So, sorry, weird man in the podcast. Have a good one, guys. I'll end it there before I get upset. Canberra this weekend. I hope to see you there. Canberra's for Luke. Bring along a friend. Bring everyone you've ever known and or met to the show, because I'd love to see you there. And also Brisbane and Sydney. Sydney, I've been speaking to the venue. I think I'm getting it filmed. It's in the process now, so it's going to get taped. I'd love to. It's going to be the biggest show I've ever done. I would fucking love to see you there. It'd mean the world to me if it was packed, just for the extra atmosphere that it would give to the taping and the bits. So yeah, I'd love to see you there, Sydney. Brisbane, second show, still tickets left. Guys, that's the end of the podcast. Have a good one. I'll see you next week.